All right, I wanted to cover this ranting for vengeance guy because he's been coming up on my feed quite a bit. From what I gather from third party information, he's another rage baiter, another grifter. Um, he's, and there's nothing wrong with praising the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, they're pretty cool, but you see the thumbnail points to the black April O'Neil, oh, it's woke shit or whatever. And I'm just like, hold on, wait, didn't people like this movie? Wasn't this movie like well received to people? Didn't this movie get like a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes and it was well received? This getting a sequel, all that other shit. So and people kind of praised the characterization of the turtles. Why are we just focusing on April O'Neil being black and that's it? Do you know this? Like, okay, April O'Neil in the original version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, she was black, alright? Let's just type this in. April O'Neil, original comic or whatever. And it's funny that he doesn't know that. He's so fucking stupid. He's such a fucking idiot. He's pointing at, oh, it's woke shit in the new movie. She's black. But the only version of April you know is the white one. Therefore, you're not a comic fan. You're not a fan of this shit, alright? I didn't even type in original comic. Let's see, there we go. I'm doing this live in 4K because this is what we have to do. 4K exposure. This is a black woman in the original Eastman Mirage comics. You see her as clear as day. Then they migrated over to the cartoon and the movie, and that was the white April O'Neil, and therefore this new movie, they went back to the black one. I cannot take you seriously. You are a complete idiot just from this logic alone, and we haven't even started your video yet. And he's one of those people. Oh, the new Batman is bad because of one black character. It's like, it reminds me of the rant that Ryan Kennel made on the Batman, where he kind of said, oh, well, all the black characters are problematic or something like that, but the movie itself was awesome. You sound racist as fuck to me. I can't take you seriously. This is the level of discourse that we have now. It's not about how interesting all the other characters in the world is and the characterization and the lore building. It's about how someone is black in a story and how your stupid racist ginger ass has a problem with it. So let's delve into his video about Fantastic Four, the first steps. I'm on the side where I like the trailer, so that's where I'm coming from. I'm being very transparent with you. Let's see what Ginger Boy has to say.
So, the trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps, which is a really stupid name by the way, just dropped. And on the internet we've seen some mixed reactions. Some people are loving it and others are justifiably destroying it. So I'm sorry to come in and rain on your parade, but Fantastic Four First Steps looks like total garbage. Nope, this isn't rage bait. I'm not being a contrarian just for the sake of it.
Well, I mean, if we look at your history with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you definitely have some contrarian values here whatsoever that doesn't pay attention to comics, and I'm sure it's going to probably come across in this video. As for the name itself, I don't really have a problem with it. Could it be better? Yes, but I've seen worse names said in media. Therefore, it's just like, it doesn't really bother me too much.
I'm just pointing out what I see, and what I see is a steaming hot pile of trash. So very
I guess that means to this guy the movie is already out yet, which is not. The movie comes out in July. So therefore, why are you already calling the movie a steaming pile of trash? Even the trailer itself wasn't really that bad. I've seen worse movie trailers. Have you seen fucking Terminator Genesis? Some of the trailers they had, it was awful, right? It's like, and I know people are going to be like, oh, you can't hold the same thing to the same standards or whatever, but the reason he dislikes the film is going to come across as the most asinine thing you ever heard, dude.
quickly, let's just get into how this movie will undoubtedly suck. So, the first major offense with this movie is the gender swapped Silver Surfer. If we jump over here, we see that Fantastic Four casts Ozark star Julia Garner as Silver Surfer.
Alright, this is his first issue. Gender swapped Silver Surfer. Now, as I said before, there are a lot of roles in the MCU that have been remixed. and some of them people have not held to the same amount of outrage as, you know, this one in particular. I guess if you swap around the main character, then there's going to be some ire from certain people or some backlash. But to me personally, like I said, with my Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man video, as long as they stay true to the character, even if they change that character like Norman Osborn, it's not going to be too much of a problem. I'm not really bothered by that stuff whatsoever. As long as the story is told in a great way. I mean, they flipped around Jim Gordon in the Batman, which, once again, this guy kind of complained about race in the Batman, but Jim Gordon was fine in that movie, and he was swapped to be black. For this in particular, they swapped around people like the Ancient One. She's not Chinese anymore. She looks like a white woman to me, a bald white woman. But again, she served the purpose of her story, the purpose of the movie. She was kind of badass. No one really made a big fuss. There were people like Ghost, where she was swapped around from male to female. People didn't even know who Ghost was. Like, they weren't really big fans of Marvel to really point it out and notice. They just let it slide. Oh, Ghost, here it is. Like, this character, not really a big deal to make a fuss of in Ant-Man 2. There's plenty of other examples about this. They didn't even know that the dog Cosmo was swapped around from male to female in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. None of these people are fucking outraging about that and complaining about that because they don't know. They have no realization for it whatsoever. They will call people normies, but they are normies themselves. And when a mainstream character is swapped around, oh, Hellfire and Brimstone, of course. But when a lesser character they don't know, and they don't know the MCU has been doing this for years, they're not going to make a big fuss about it or a big stink about it whatsoever. What is the purpose of the character in the story? That's the main thing I want to know. Will Silver Surfer be valued or undervalued? That's what I'm trying to find out. Will it be better than the Fox rendition? Because the Fox rendition, well, is very, very, very underwhelming, and so was Galactus. Will they fix those problems in this movie? We don't know yet. I guess we're gonna find out this summer.
In gender swapped role that upsets fans. The character of Shala Bal, who nobody heard.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a fuck if you're upset. It's like, to me personally, like, that does not matter to me. Your emotional sort of context or whatever, it does not matter to me. I want to know where this character fits in the story, and if she is undervalued or if she is great in the story. That's what I want to know in particular. Will they stick to that original mold of what Silver Surfer is? And I mean, there has been a female variant of some sort of cosmic Silver Surfer before, so it's not like we haven't seen some rendition of this in comics in the first place. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna bring that up, right? You're going to mention that. You're going to mention something this important, right? No, no, you are not.
Of and nobody really cares about, reportedly appears as the Silver Surfer in the comics, set in an alternate reality. That's the key phrase right there. Alternate reality. It's almost like an excuse that these people use to gender swap and race swap every single thing they can get their hands on.
Well, no, I don't agree, and I'm gonna tell you why. I mean, the Fantastic Four does not exist in the main sacred timeline of the MCU. So, what they decided to do was, for the storytelling, they're going to have this set in an alternate universe, and then the Fantastic Four gets ripped out of that universe, and they go to the main one. Guess what the name of the saga is? You fucking idiot. It's called the Multiverse Saga for a reason. So why are you saying this is an excuse? Were you saying that before when they originally announced what this saga was going to be? It was going to be a crossover of characters, of universes, of lore. You already were weaned into the equation before even making this video. So are you going to bring that up? Was it an excuse back then? Hell no, it was not. And you should know better.
It's not for the good of the story or the fact that it is an alternate reality. You're just doing it because you want to. And my response is,
Well, as far as I know, the reason why Kevin Feige is doing this, and I would say it was successful with Deadpool and Wolverine, is that he said this crossover is meant to bring these characters that could never be on screen before. Like Chris Evans is fucking Johnny Storm and Deadpool and Wolverine talking. Like that couldn't be done in the previous saga since that was all about Thanos and the Infinity Stones and the Infinity Gauntlet and the gems. Multiverse is about crossing over characters from differing universes. You are having a severe lack of understanding when it comes to that.
this. Do not
He feels so insulted. He's so triggered. Oh my god. They said fuck the fans. No, they explicitly told you what it's all about. And for some reason, you think it's about something else because you have your own narrative when making this shitty ass video in the first place.
comment. Don't come at me saying it's an alternate universe. How do you
Hey, buddy, and one more thing. You know, multiverses have been a concept in comics long before the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That goes to show how dumb you are. That goes to show how stupid you are. DC having multiverses in Elseworlds, Marvel having it. This has been paramount in comics since forever now. Are you gonna bring that up? Oh, it's just an excuse back then. It's an excuse now. Like, what? The fuck are you talking about? All right, like, these people are dumb, bro.
not know that? I know that. I just don't care. I don't care if it's a super
All right, if you know and you just don't care, then why are you making a big deal about it? That's not a good argument. Okay, that's actually not a good argument. You are saying, oh, there's no reason for this, but they're giving you a reason. A reason already existed before, and you're just not taking that at some face value or trying to understand it. That's the problem.
wormhole, alternate, different planet where everybody has to be race swapped and gender swapped. The people who do this aren't doing it for the sake of it's an alternate reality. They're doing it because they're mentally ill psychos in real life.
What the fuck? Where'd you come to that fucking conclusion? Again, they have shown that people in alternate universes don't always look the same. Like in Doctor Strange, there were universes where Strange looked the same, but there's a universe where Reed Richards looks different, and there's been other characters that have vastly like been altered or differed to some degree. Like Johnny Storm from Fox is not the same looking Johnny Storm as the one in the not the Sacred Timeline. Now you got me fucking confused. Fuck you, okay? Not the Sacred Timeline. I'm talking about the timeline for Fantastic Four. They don't look the same. You know, one has light blonde hair. He looks more like the comic version of Johnny, and then the other one is Chris Evans. So, yes, some people are the same character swapped around, maybe different in face or race, but it's the multiverse. You could do these infinite possibilities. Like, it's never been an excuse, and the fact that you said you don't care means that you don't care to find logic or reasoning in the equation just because. Like, you simply, oh, they did it in the comics before, I don't care. Yes, they did. It's comic authentic for a reason.
Speaking of which, we see who's directing the movie, Matt Shackman. Now, I haven't heard of him. He probably directed some crappy film, but
As far as I know, Matt Shackman is mostly a TV director. The last thing he directed was WandaVision. And I know that I think WandaVision mostly turned out alright, fine. People were expecting Mephisto to show up in that show a lot, but it mostly turned out fine. He's mostly a TV guy, and I know his TV stuff is better received than the last movie he worked on, but that was like years and years ago. Directors can change on a dime. Like, even some of your favorite directors out there, they might have an L or two. We'll see what happens with this movie. I never judge someone based on their filmography alone. Like, even for Scream 7, like, Kevin Williamson made like a bad movie, but maybe he could make a good movie with this. I'm not seeing this movie for several reasons, but maybe he will make a banger with Screen 7. You never know. So I would not judge based on one movie that someone made like so many fucking years ago. Same for James Gunn. He's made movies that scored low or written movies that scored low, but he came back with Avengers Authority with his recent Guardians movies and the Suicide Squad and everything else he's made so far. So I do not judge based on a movie someone made like 10 or something years ago. Like people can change, adhere to new styles, and learn and grow in that process.
Reportedly, he added Julia Garner to the cast, so it was his decision basically. And just from looking him up on Wikipedia, we do see that he is of a certain religious or ethnic background.
What the fuck? What does someone being Jewish have to do with their skills in filmmaking? That just sounds anti-Semitic to me. Like, what the fuck? Okay, you're gonna point out the next Jewish director? Like, what if they have a good movie under their belt? Like, what? That does not matter. Why are you so hung up on race? You are fucking race baiting to the nth degree, and it's very common and prevalent in your videos. And you just sound like a racist piece of shit. I'm sorry.
And that leads me into our next point. So you have the Thing in this new Fantastic Four movie. He's probably one of the only good looking parts about the film. Yes, it is CGI, but they're getting the look of the Thing way better and way more accurate to the comics.
That's probably the only thing I'm gonna agree with him. Everything else I disagree, so I'm just letting you people know.
Saying that is where the comic accuracy really does stop. So the Thing is a famously Jewish character. So of course, to be accurate, they brought in a Jewish actor to play the role. Seems pretty straightforward, right? Well, then we get to kind of, you know, the leader of the team, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, the white guy, and he's being played by Pedro Pascal.
Okay. What's your point? He's being played by an actor that's not Jewish. But what if he embodies the character? Like, fucking. Let me see. I'll use another excuse. Again, Jim Gordon from the Batman, being played by Jeffrey Wright, embodied the character 100%, and he's black. What's the excuse? Right? As long as they embody the characterization, there is nothing wrong with this. If Pedro can be a smart, charismatic, and cool leader with also a mountain of problems because Reed Richards is not perfect for being the smartest man alive, then what is the exact issue? And playing the little Mexican tune or whatever, isn't Pedro Pascal like Chilean, right? I don't think he's inherently Mexican, although I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But yeah, I just think this guy is super racist with what he's saying about Pedro and Jewish people and just a ton of other shit. Like, he wants authenticity, but again, you can have these comic movies where someone has a distinctive background. They're not really either the character's nationality and they come through just fine. You know what? I'm gonna look up something on my phone, so hold on, give me a second. Just a second, guys. Okay, yeah, so I was right. Pedro Pascal is Chilean American. And we're gonna look up someone else. So there was Sue Storm, which is mostly known to be Caucasian. And I'm gonna look up the nationality of Jessica Alba because Jessica Alba was Sue Storm in the original Fox Fantastic Four. Nobody complains. They always say she's hot. And oh, what is that? Wait a minute. What am I seeing here? Hold on. I'm gonna get the evidence right here. Just a minute. I'm gonna pull a domino on your ass right now. Look at this look. Like, fantastic looking Sue. I would never shit on the appearance of them grabbing her to be Sue Storm. Um, this is great looking, 100%. Back then, it was cool. She looks fine. Her nationality is of Mexican American descent, And Sue Storm is mostly Caucasian, right? So are we gonna go back and complain about that? A very beloved looking actress that embodied the look of the character, but she's not Caucasian. I think you guys need to stop with this. It's all about the acting and what they can bring to the table. It doesn't matter if it's just like, oh, they differ here or there. Like, the same thing happened with Oscar Isaac in Moon Knight. I thought he was a terrific Mark Spector, but there were people saying he needs to be inherently Jewish in descent, and he still bought cool shit to that role. Like, I'm not hung up on that stuff whatsoever. What do they bring to the table acting wise and as the character? That's it. They can differ in roots. They can be like a little bit lighter, darker, whatever. I just care about characterization. That's it. And you're not gonna go back in the past and say, "Oh well, damn, Jessica Alba, she shouldn't be Sue Storm. That's nothing like Sue Storm. That doesn't appear to be Sue Storm because she's Mexican." No, you're not gonna do that shit. Oh, your Batman take was also like fucking lousy, dog. Like, I'm just saying.
It's in his name. Amigo, sorry to break it to you.
That that right there just tells the whole story. Why'd you need to say amigo like that? Hold the fuck up. Hold on, what? What? Oh, bro, it's so blatantly fucking racist. Jesus Christ, man.
But you're not Reed Richards. I don't care if you really like the character or if you play him well. You're not him. So
you don't care if he plays the character well? He's not him? I thought that was the living embodiment of getting an actor to play a role, is for them to embody said character, right? If the director doesn't really, how can I put this? If they get someone and they don't embody the character, they failed the work, right? You know what I mean? They failed the work if they don't get the person to embody said character. You failed at what you're trying to do. Which is why these directors and supervisors and whatnot, they are watching under a narrow scope. So why, what? That's not even something that a comic book fan would say. That's fucking ridiculous.
let's just get a quick summary. So the Jewish character is played by the Jewish guy because we're being so accurate. But the normal white guy, Reed Richards, we can't get just any old normal white actor.
Again, Jessica Alba as Sue. Looking mad good. It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. God damn.
We have to bring in Pedro Pascal.
Jeffrey Wright, the Batman, embodies fucking Jim Gordon. Like, all of this shit is irrelevant. As long as they embody the character, that's all that matters.
Where everything he touches turns to woke. The last of
it seems like you have a lot of ill will towards Pedro Pascal, and I don't know, you're not really talking about the merits of him as an actor, which is very important. Like, everything he touches turns to woke, and he points him out specifically. He calls him what is it, amigo? It just seems like you have some ill will going on, right? There's some racial tension right there, and you're kind of just trying to mask it under the guise of criticism, but you just sound like you're the biggest hater that's on somebody's nuts right now. That's not, like, for real, bro. That's kind of what you come across as, little bro. Chill. Like, nobody knows who you are. Like, it's like, well, I know who you are, but like, nobody in the bigger scene, the bigger industry, they're not gonna fucking watch this video and pay attention and be like, this guy is just spitting facts. No, most people are gonna watch these videos and say, yeah, Rage Baiter number 105 in the building on YouTube, just like everybody else. Move the fuck on. This is like a nerdy ginger in his basement. Like, that's what they're gonna say. Like, oh, look at this guy. Look at this fucking loser with like fucking issues with Mexicans and Chileans and shit like that. Look at this fucking loser. Look at this bum. Probably never got out of the basement in his life, dude. Like, that's what they're gonna say. Like, you're gonna be the laughing stock to them.
Us, a game series that already sucked crap was adapted into a TV show and
I don't know about The Last of Us sucking. I mean, there's a lot of people that really, really like that first iteration. You can say what you want about the second one and it being divisive. I mean, I like that game, but I know that game is divisive. So you can say maybe second game 50-50, but the first one, heavily revered. I mean, I remember people saying they needed a fucking PS3 when that game came out. So clearly, you either live in delusion or you are firmly snuggle in the fact that you are a minority person when it comes to the reveals of some of these games and information and community cultural influence that comes with it. Like, no fucking way. It's like, yeah, that's your opinion and all that, but no fucking way. It's a majority opinion and you're entitled to have it, but it is also a thing that is not true to everybody. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Pedro Pascal, our main Mexican man.
And how was how was it ruined when he touched it? Like, at least you could be specific and talk about multiple factors. Like, was he a terrible Joel? What else? Like, what else would make him specifically ruin one show? With a lot of multitudes of storylines. Like, you're not talking about does Ellie, does Bella Ramsey, does she ruin the show? Which episodes do you not like? Like, let's be a little bit more specific here and very clear cut.
Got to come in and play Joel, a character who was also white. It's like he's job.
All right, again, he looks just like Joel, so it's like, what's the, if you put them both side by side right now, and I'm not gonna do it because I think I've done it enough, but you put them both side by side, old grizzled guy that has like lighter skin that has the look. I don't. He definitely still looks like Joel.
To come in and take a normal white character and just turn him Mexican. Who'll know the difference? A lot of people will, because you're nowhere near Reed Richards. And just
I wonder if he knew the difference with Jessica Alba, but you know what? We ain't gonna say nothing about that. So let's continue.
speaking a bit more on Pedro Pascal, if you look at his real life antics, because that's what I'm gonna call them, the dude is a little bit of a nut job. So over the years, he has.
Alright, so a person's personal politics, and we talked about this before with Ghosts of Yotai, a person's personal politics has nothing to do with the screenwriting process if they're an actor or an actress just playing a part. I'm gonna say that part again. Like, there is another committee of people working on these projects around the clock, and if they are a failure at writing, or storytelling or characterization, it wouldn't necessarily be on the actors unless they're doing a bad job at acting. I've interviewed various people, I've interviewed voice actors from Capcom. They are very, very airtight on the stuff they work on, and they want minimal changes from the actual actors themselves. Very, very minimal. The only thing that they might budge on is the fact that, hey, a line in Japanese might not sound right, or might not sound right to the American culture versus the Japanese script, which is why some things are changed by localizers after adhering to that extensive advice. But this is something that normal people don't seem to understand, and I saw it with the Ghosts of Yotai stuff. Like, Erika Ishii's gonna be writing the story, everything's doomed. How do you know this? Like, that's the first thing I asked people. This first question that was on my mind. Like, do you know she's a writer? Like, how do you know this? Does she write for Sucker Punch? How do you know this? So how is he specifically ruining that process? How do you know this for Reed Richards? Like, of course, we could talk about his acting all day, but the trailer only just gave us more indication of his acting and what he does, and how it was mostly just Reed being a smart guy, loving his family. That's it. We have to see the full movie and how he acts in emotional scenes, action scenes, how they portray his character more. you never know. You're talking out of the side of your neck right now. You never know. Like sometimes people like to talk out the side of their neck, and this guy is just doing that right now.
Shown himself to be a total and utter psycho when it comes to politics,
but yeah, their politics does not reflect on the script writing at all. Like we seen this shit with like Terrifier. Like I think the actor for Art the Clown is supportive of gay rights, trans rights, all that stuff. And Damon Leone, I believe, came out and said, well, Terrifier 4 is not going to be political just because our actor supports this. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's just about a clown killing people. Why are you over generalizing and over exaggerating? It makes no sense. Like, this is what people will do. Like, again, why are you just because an actor, many actors that you won't like will not align to your personal beliefs or opinions. You're just like, celebrities have been doing this since the dawn of time. In magazines, they have differing thoughts too. So what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what does this have to do with the movie itself? Like, what does it have to do? Now, if you said the screenwriters has said something about said topic or whatever, maybe you will have more of an opinion that will line up. Like if the screenwriters, the writers shared these opinions, then clearly that might affect the story to some degree. But if they don't, then what the fuck? Like this is what I think. This is why I think this is funny. Like an actor is not a writer, dude. Well, fucking win unless they have both credits. Like Ryan Reynolds, I guess you could say Deadpool Wolverine. He produced the movie, he acted in it, and I believe he has some executive writing credits. You could definitely say a guy like him influenced the script, but Pedro is not a writer on Fantastic Four: The First Steps, and you can look that up and find it. I know he's not, so what does his personal politics have to do with the fucking movie?
outside of the political world, he's also a nut because apparently he has some anxiety condition where when he feels uncomfortable or nervous, he latches onto those around him. And this has given us some absolutely insane moments in the up and coming run to this film coming out.
What? What the fuck? Okay, so what's the problem? Someone who has anxiety has stage fright? That's number one. Out. You know, and a lot of people get anxiety. What? He touches on someone that he obviously knows, and she reciprocates and sees it. You're trying to frame it like, oh, he's a creep, but she reciprocates and responds and holds his hand. As opposed to, if a woman was creeped out, they would be punching you in the balls. If a woman was creeped out, they would not reciprocate. So clearly they're on some personal level, and she knows this, and she takes his hand. So the main thing here is she consented. And you're trying to say this is non-consent. What are you, a moron? Like, okay? What, you an idiot? Like, okay. If a woman consents to this, there is literally no issue. You're making a mountain out of molehills. Like, for real. Like, what the fuck is this dumb shit, alright? What the fuck? And you see her smiling, too, so she knows his issue. They have some personal connection. You know, I don't know what it is. Lovers, friends. I think both of them are. I don't know. Maybe he dated her. You don't know the story. Like, you don't know these people's lives. Like, maybe she knows about his condition and she like said, okay, I'm gonna calm you down. Like, and that's what you're seeing here visualized. Like, yes, men have mental health issues and women will consent and try to calm them down. This is something that is normal in reality. You might see this somewhere. This is not abnormal. To me, abnormality is like someone trying to grab a woman's ass and they don't even know who they are. Like, that's abnormality. You have no formal relationship with them whatsoever, but you try to grab ass. You're gonna get slapped for that. You're gonna get KO for that. All right, this is just, you're gonna look weird for that. But in this situation, two people formally know each other. She consented. So what is the issue?
What the fuck? What the?
They're holding hands again. She's smiling, you know, holding each other. She's smiling, and there's consent. Like, if it wasn't consensual, I would agree with you. But since it is, you have a shit moot point.
The fuck is that?
So in all of these mental photos and videos, you can see Pedro Pascal randomly deciding to latch on to Vanessa Kirby like she's his mother or something. She's in the middle of answering a question and
He's like, I wish I had what they were having, but I don't. Oh god. Oh man, this shit is so funny, dog.
this weird Mexican guy wearing like a fluffy pink sweater grabs onto her and just starts holding.
I wish I had that. I ain't got no woman to hold on to, but I just... Oh man.
On for dear life, and it's passed off as some condition like he has anxiety and he has this and he has. Shut up.
I mean, people do have anxiety. The fact that you're trying to pass it off makes you look like a piece of shit. I mean, there's no other way to say this. I knew I was gonna go into this video, and I knew I was not going to sugarcoat anything. You're just like Star Wars girl when she said, "Oh, look at that creepy touch." But anxiety is a real thing, and people deal with it differently. There was a signal before she touched them, and she allowed it. So clearly, she knows about it. So what are you fucking idiots talking about downplaying anxiety? Like, yes, people have it. Yes, there is varying degrees of it. It is worse for some people, and for others, it's slight. I fucking have stage fright, dude. I can't stand being on stage. I hate that shit. So imagine being the face of the MCU in front of like 1 million people who you don't know. That's like kind of very, very skeptical, critical, or some people that are cheering you on or becoming like a new face of a big franchise. You're gonna be like fucking starglazed too. Like, this happens to people. But I mean, again, you don't know how that feels, so of course you'd be saying this condescending shit.
Shut up. You're a millionaire who gets to be in Marvel movies and Star Wars movies.
I mean, having money does not excuse mental illness or men's mental disarray. You know, money can't buy happiness. Remember that phrase? And you know, it's a paramount phrase. Like, money can't buy happiness. It might buy you some temporary relief or whatever, but it can't buy happiness. You got millionaires that unalive themselves, right? They had all the money in the world and they still committed the ultimate like just thing. And that did that help their mental illness or whatever? No. You know, money is a temporary relief at best. It's not gonna help you get over depression, anxiety, etc. I'm just saying, like, it's the truth, like, and this dude does not know because he's so oblivious.
Stop complaining. Nobody wants to listen to you talk about your politics or your anxiety conditions. Just shut up and act in the movie, you retard. And I'm not entirely alone in my beliefs about this movie. I saw this guy and
So basically he's just like, oh, suck it up and act in the movie. People don't have emotions or feelings outside of film. They shouldn't listen to their anxiety or depression or try to get over it or anything or have some coping mechanism. Fuck all that, just act in the movie. So he thinks people are robots. So yeah, okay. You sick piece of shit. All right.
Twitter that actually had a good thing to say about it.
Any hope you have for the MCU version of the Fantastic Four is officially gone. And before people start, no, it's not just because she's a female. It's the reason why they're using the female version of the Silver Surfer. Because instead of using the iconic version of Silver Surfer right here, Norman...
Didn't the iconic version suck in the Fox movies? Am I not too mistaken? Like, wasn't Wasn't he underutilized? Like, so ultimately it didn't matter. Like, it depends on how they use the character going forward and how they are applied in the storyline. And I heard this dude is like a coon. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard this 1,000 times. I've seen this dude as well. People say he just coons out. He was hanging with Melanie Mack, holding her hand and shit, being all friends. Like he was having the time of his life, right? When he just hangs out with all these fucking grifter people that probably has said a bunch of like either discriminatory shit. So I keep hearing about this dude. I've seen this dude before. People just keep saying he's a coon. So you know what? Personally speaking, I would believe it. There's a couple of people out there that would be like, you know, I'll have this white person say the most racist shit to my face, and I'll be able to take it, no problem, because I'm like buddy with them. I kiss their ass, I suck their dick, like. I'm sorry, I was cracking the fuck up laughing from that last one. I had to pause for a second. Sorry. Let's continue.
Red, they would rather use a female version of the Silver Surfer, which I can't even tell you off the top of my head because I don't even remember the name. But surely
I don't even remember the name or if a female surfer existed when there has been renditions of it before, but okay.
there's no other reason other than she was the best person for the...
That dude actually made a great point that they're probably gonna pass.
How do you not know that she's not a good actress for the job? Have you seen the movie? Like, that's the main question. Have you seen the film to validate those beliefs that the person they picked is terrible? Like, all right, here's the thing. Here's an example, right? This is a good one, and you'll get what I'm saying when I say this. Resident Evil movies, right? Ultimately, I don't think that Alice Mila Jovovich was great for the job. Just kind of a boring character overall, and the actress brought nothing to the table. Fair criticism. But you see, those movies are now out for the public to watch, and they always have been, and I can fairly critique them because they are released, and I didn't have to insult the actress's like heritage or anything like that. I didn't have to say anything like that of the sort. I didn't have to diminish and devalue them because they were female or anything like that. I just simply said actress didn't really bring anything to the table for that role. And the difference is those movies are out. We're talking about an unreleased film that does not come out until the summer. So how the fuck do you know she's not someone that'll kill the role or not? Like, you don't even know this information. You're just yapping.
This office, she was the best person for the role. No, she
now it's possible that she might not be the best person for the role or mid, but we won't know that until fucking July.
wasn't. You're telling me you couldn't have gotten a badass bald dude to come in and play the Silver Surfer, a character that's literally been around for 60 years. But nope, you decide to bring in...
They could have, or hear me out. Considering that it's another universe, maybe there is a 616 Silver Surfer, Sacred Timeline Silver Surfer, that is the male version, and maybe this universe where it's a different Galactus or whatever and a different Silver Surfer, maybe in this one is different. I'm just giving you a solution here. You know, there's a solution to your fucking problem of being stupid and not putting that on the table. Like, just a little bit.
The alternate universe female version, and you cast this girl because she was the best for the role. I don't think so. And the funny part is, even if you take away all the political stuff, the film just doesn't look good. This is supposed to be the first steps, the beginnings to a new Marvel universe. And it just looks mediocre. If you take any other superhero movie from, I don't know, 10 years ago, they're already way more impactful and just way better. Batman 89 will forever be iconic and stick around for years and years. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy is one of the best.
Well, except for Spider-Man 3. But, I mean, people are kind of a little bit iffy on that movie in particular, how they handle Venom. I mean, even those movies are liable to have things in them that really didn't age well or were not comic accurate or authentic in the slightest. And, well, that was one of them. The Raimi movies are far from authenticity in certain points. I mean, I'm sure you realize that, but no, you don't. No, no. But let's continue. Still good movies. I love the fuck out of them, but yeah.
As superhero things to exist.
And the thing about this comparison is that we're talking about the Fantastic Four that has never really had like what I would deem as a A-tier movie. The Fox movies, the first one at least was okay, but it wasn't an S-tier film like Spider-Man 1 was when it hit the market, or Spider-Man 2. So yes, if this movie is better than all the other Fantastic Four movies, it's not a high bar when you think about it.
Fantastic Four First Steps is just not gonna cut it. I don't care if Galactus shows up, if they're bringing in comic accuracy, which I'll get to in a
You just talked about the thing being comic accurate and saying that you liked it. So what is the problem now? Like, oh, I now I don't care. What the fuck? The fuck? The fuck is that like contradiction? Okay.
second. To be perfectly honest, this film just doesn't look good. Doesn't look like some groundbreaking thing that people are gonna be watching over and over again.
How do you know that? How do you know the audience outcome? You have no indication of that whatsoever.
For the next 20 years. It might come out and for 6 months you'll have these cucks praising it as some masterpiece, but then it's just going to be forgotten, like most new movies that nobody actually cares about. Now,
Oh, he embodied his critical drinker. Every modern movie sucks, but I can't name all the, foreign movies that I watched. I can't name one of them because I'm a poser. Okay.
out to the comic accuracy, people are losing their mind going, oh, they gave Ben Grimm a trench coat, oh, they have the original blue suits.
What's the issue with people liking comic accurate things? Like, yes, this elicits positivity from comic readers who are seeing the things they love adapted to the big screen. This has never been a problem whatsoever. Like, yes, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, finally wearing yellow. I'm going to be excited for that, okay? That's gonna, like, yes, people can be excited for things. Newsflash, except you're all dooming and glooming over here and working yourself up into a fucking stupor. People can be excited for comic accurate renditions. Like, this is nothing new. Like, fuck, man, come on. Like, seriously, what a shit like criticism this is. Like, seriously.
Well, in that department, you're entirely incorrect. So let's just have a look at these comic accurate suits and let's see how accurate they really are. So here we have the insanely comic accurate Fantastic Four First Steps costumes. And here we have the original real comic accurate costumes. What on earth are these people smoking? How does a
Wait. What the fuck? Like, look. His comparison was, again, the blue suits and the white accents and the fours. Like, this one right here. Look at them. Look at them over here, right? And then you go to this image, and I mean, they're wearing the blue with the white accents and the collars and stuff like that. The only weird part, I would say, is Reed doesn't have his white collar, but this is as close can get. And I don't mind it. Like, again, simplicity is key. One of the things I'm happy about is they didn't overcomplicate these outfits. It's not a bunch of like chevrons on the outfits or stuff like that. It's very simple and it's very basic, and it looks fine when they harken back to a source from the comics, which is why people love these outfits. Like, would you prefer they wear black leather and spandex? Okay, which is far from the typical, the prototypical original Fantastic Four outfits. Again, sometimes it's all about being as close as humanly possible, and I'm fine with these outfits. I don't see anything wrong with them whatsoever.
Comic accurate costume.
And then, I mean, well, you never know. They could get these exact same one-for-one outfits. We've seen this happen as a joke in Luke Cage, where it's like he's wearing the tiara and the yellow. Then he says, "I look like a damn fool." Modified the costume again. He was a little bit more urban this time around. And yeah, I mean, he still has like yellow sort of things with his, what the fuck do they call those? God damn it, dude! I was just wearing one, a fucking hoodie. Like he has a yellow looking hoodie and more urban streetwear, but he threw away the gel costume and he didn't keep it. So it could be a thing of that. I don't like when that happens all the time, but I'm just saying in general that could be a thing.
Costumes. What on earth are these people smoking? How does a Mexican Reed Richards and a comic inaccurate costume and a gender swapped
Wait, doesn't Reed have the white hairs on the side regardless? And he has that, so that is comic accurate. Pedro also has that in the movie, and he's just hung up on race. Oh my god.
Silver Surfer correlate to some comic accurate masterpiece?
The characters are not exactly how I want in this universe. Therefore, the movie is a 0 out of 10, yes.
I have the answer. It doesn't. Can people just stop hyping up these movies as if they're going to be the next?
I don't think so. I think can people stop hyping up these movies? Wasn't the Fantastic Four trailer like trending #1? Right? After this trash rant is over, I'll go back and check that.
Iron Man or Spider-Man, when in truth it's never going to be that, like, ever again. The people making these movies have no care for the characters.
Were people saying that when Deadpool and Wolverine came out? There's still a lot of stock that goes into the MCU, which is why they netted $1 billion with that film.
That's why they'll throw in a woman to play Silver Surfer, drop in a Mexican guy to play Reed Richards, but
I'm racist and sexist, God.
then cast a Jewish actor as a Jewish character, so we're perfectly comic accurate. Now, I'm not gonna ask why they did that, but it just proves my point that it's a
I'm not going to ask why, even though one of these things is what I wanted. Yes.
double standard. To no surprise, this movie is gonna suck.
How do you know that? Again, hello, Marty McFly. How do you know this? Time machine? Are we in the summer yet? Have we watched the film? No.
I'm not gonna be watching it, and I'm sure a lot of people out there will be
Think, McFly, think.
doing the same. And for the people
I don't think so. I think I'll be watching this and Superman and seeing what those movies are all about.
who are gonna consume every second of this and
Yes.
love it,
Yes.
I genuinely think that you do not have a place anywhere near comic books.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't even think you read comics. If you said, if you said, oh, Black April is woke shit, but you don't even know that April was black in the Eastman run, and you said that was awesome. So, sir, I'm gonna have to revoke your comic card. I don't think you're much of a comic fan, if you didn't point that out. You're trying to praise the thing that you basically love so much, and you don't even know that April was black there. So, and if you have a problem with like race and whatever, and oh, they swapped this, they swapped that, you know she was initially black, right? So, what about the white swaps of April O'Neil? Do you think those original movies of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the first one, was terrible? Well-loved film for swapping the character. Would you ever say that? No. No, wait, no, right? No, no, how, no way, right? That's how I could tell that you are a 100% fucking poser.
Oh yeah, and P.S. If Pedro Pascal is playing Mr. Fantastic, I just want to ask, what's he really fantastic at? cleaning houses or jumping over the border. And if you
Oh my god, the racism. Now, if you don't know by this point that this dude is being fucking racist, you are just white knighting and defending him if you're a fan of his. Like, was that even necessary to talk about him jumping over the border? Like, come on, it's blatantly obvious.
got a problem, go complain to your boyfriend.
All right, we'll see you when the movie comes out. What a fucking idiot.